as long as these big dinosaurs are around, we're, you know, we can't start our lineage with these guys around, so they, you know, wipe them out. Who knows? Who's to say?
Yeah, well, I know that you've talked to me about the reptilians in the past. So do you think that maybe they had something to do with dinosaurs who may have been something of their likeness?
It's possible if you actually look at. Now, I'm not talking about now I know I'm going off into cryptids here, but if you look at the early chupacabra, the first ones that are reported, not the ones that they find along the borders in the Rio Grande down there, those are probably some poisoned canid that is, you know, kind of a birth defect of some type or another. But if you look at the original reports of chupacabra that come out of like Puerto Rico and places like that, are very reptilian looking, and it
Creatures,
you know
yeah.
would make you wonder. And maybe creatures is a very rough term to use, but a specimen, a very reptilian-looking specimen compared, you know, to what most people consider when you say extraterrestrial. You know, they think of the grays or the browns or whatever, and these reptilian-looking specimens are different.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, you know, I know we're kind of being very theoretical this evening and talking about dinosaurs and ancient aliens, but you know, as life has changed here on the Earth, the climate has changed as well, and so you know, just speaking theoretically about the potential of ETs having something to do with life on Earth. As the climate changed here on Earth and was no longer able to support the large animals like the T-Rex or the animals that you deal with, it morphed into or became more conducive to animals or creatures like ourselves. And do you study climate change at all with your work?
One of the things that we look at, the end of the Mesozoic. Mesozoic includes what's called the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous. That's known as the age of the dinosaurs. And at the end of the Cretaceous, that's when the big meteor comes down and all of that. During the Cretaceous period, there toward the end, we're talking the Earth, this planet as a whole, was about 30 degrees warmer than what it is right now. And the oxygen levels were much, much greater. And so, you know, given to that climate, that's why you see these large, huge animals that were around back then. And then as you near the end of that Cretaceous period, the end of those dinosaurs, what happens is there starts to be a gradual cooling, and you have a lot of major volcanism, a lot of volcanoes occurring, and they're putting up what now we consider greenhouse gases, sulfur dioxide, a lot of carbon dioxide, and methane and things like that. So it's kicking all this stuff up in the air. You have this large meteor that comes in, crashes, and ejects literally teratons and gigatons of debris up into the atmosphere. And so you have this almost instant onset of a nuclear winter comes around. And so you have an extreme climate shift. And so now the climate doesn't support these large animals, and the smaller animals, especially the mammals that give rise to us, they were able to survive through all that.
Mm-hmm. Well, so one of these super large animals probably could not survive today. Is that what you're saying?
Um, I don't think there's enough oxygen content compared to what it was for one of these guys to survive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that's curious. So I mean, and once again, I keep drawing us back to the idea of the ETs, but I guess in a theoretical way, you could say that we have been a lab for changing life forms, and whether or not I guess ETs would have anything to do with it would be a matter of interpretation as to how they may or may not have manipulated life on Earth.
It's up for debate, that's for certain. And who's to say, on a personal level, not necessarily for dinosaurs, because now when I'm working with dinosaurs, all the bones that I work with, the youngest, the youngest the bones I have are 65 million years old. So
Wow.
most of that stuff, if you ever take just an animal bone nowadays and you look at it in cross section, it's very porous. It has a lot of pores in it, and so that's how we have water with minerals seep into those pores, and then as the water evaporates, it leaves the minerals in there, and so it's that mineralization that preserves a little bit of bone left to it. That's how we get that. So the chance of pulling DNA out or anything like that is virtually next to impossible. There are some people out there that are working with some of that. There's a very famous paleontologist named Jack Horner, and he's been working with the lab, I think out of Duke University. He's works out of the Museum of the Rockies, but he's been working in conjunction with a university on southeast coast, and they've been trying to pull some soft tissue from some bones and to see if it's possible to recover some
DNA,
some type of DNA or genetic material of some sort out of it.
Well, I mean that's really fascinating. I mean, is there a particular part of this country or the world where dinosaurs were more plentiful in any particular period, or what? Are they just everywhere, or because you just don't normally think of living in an area where there's a bunch of dinosaurs, or at one time.
They can virtually, be found in just about anywhere in the around the globe. What you have to consider, let's take the United States for instance. A lot of dinosaur-bearing sections here in the U.S. are covered by concrete and buildings and houses and things like that. So you never can tell where there may be. As far as prolific sites, there's mostly along the central. You get into the Dakotas, Montana, Wyoming, Utah. Those areas, some portions of Canada, and then across up through Alaska and over in that direction. They're fairly prolific dinosaur bearing. I think we're going to break.
Yeah, well, we're gonna take a break here in just a moment, and when we come back, we hope to hear from you. So please try to give us a call and let us know some of your thoughts. And you can call us at 888-919-2355. Tommy Diammond is here this evening, so we hope that you will join us in just a moment. So we'll be going to break and be back in just a little bit. Thank you for being on Epic Radio. Okay, well, we're back once again for our final segment of Epic Voyagers Radio here on the Inception Radio Network. And once again, today is January 14th, 2013. We're starting the new year out talking about dinosaurs and ETs, ancient aliens. And we have with us a very well-known paleontologist from the North Texas area, Tommy Diammond. Tommy has agreed to be our guest tonight to kind of set us straight a little bit about dinosaurs and the ancient aliens theories that are out there. Tommy is well known, like I say, and has been responsible for finding several dinosaur remains here in the North Texas area and other places. It's amazing the knack some people have to do certain things, and so Tommy is very gifted in that particular area. He also deals in the paranormal, deals with ghost hunting, and has been responsible for helping put together some ghost walks in the North Texas area, and it's been my pleasure to know him for several years now. And he is also one of the people, I guess you would call him a curator at the new Perot Museum of Natural Science in the Dallas area. And in that museum, there is one large specimen that I'm going to ask Tommy to tell us a little bit about, because I think you'll find it fascinating. Tommy, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can you tell us about the major find or the major exhibit at the Perot Museum?
On the fourth floor of the museum, in the what's called Life Then and Now Hall, the center attraction there is an exhibit called Predator Prey, and we have a predator-prey relationship from current time, and then one from the Cretaceous, all of which found in the Big Bend region. So in current time, we have a cougar or mountain lion, a mule deer, and then a golden eagle. And then from the Cretaceous, we have the large Alamosaurus sanjuansis, which is an 85-foot-long sauropod dinosaur that stands about 25 feet at the shoulder. And next to that, we have a full-grown Tyrannosaurus rex. Those are cast, but then on the island itself, we have the cervical vertebra array from the Alamosaurus. And so we're talking about a neck that's 24 and a half feet long, and these vertebra, as a fossil, weighs around, just one vertebra weighs around 700 pounds.
Wow.
So that's the actual fossil material there. On the other side, where the Tyrannosaurus is the tibia, the fibula, and tarsals of the Tyrannosaur that I found. Mm-hmm. So all of that is on exhibit, where you can see what real bone material, real fossil material looks like, and then you get an idea of what the features look like.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, now, let me ask you this. How long did it take for an animal to grow to be that size? I mean, it just seems extraordinary that an animal would grow to be that size. And how long did they normally live if they had a natural lifespan?
It's estimated that they lived in the tens of years, 20, maybe 30 years in some cases.
Really, that's all?
Mm-hmm.
Because it just seems like a short lifespan to be able to grow that large. So they must have had tremendous nutrients or whatever to make them grow, like a growth hormone or something to accelerate that growth. So, I mean, it just seems amazing to me because, we see animals grow, but we don't see anything like that. That's for sure. And especially to have the food sources available for animals that size. Were they plentiful like we see animals today, or were they sparsely populated?
It depends. The current predator-prey relationships that you see now, you see, for example, let's take cows or you have herds and herds of cows, lots of cows, but then you have like one pack of wolves that will, with maybe 4 or 5 wolves, 6 or 7 wolves, but yet you may have 30 or 40 or 50 or 100 head of cattle out there. And, a wolf will take down a couple, or some wolves will take,
Mm-hmm.
and then coyotes come along and they feed off of it, and then, the vultures or the buzzards come along and they feed off it. So you kind of had that going on back then as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as the climate changed, and now I know we all always hear about this. I guess this major asteroid that came along and made the animals extinct. And some people, like I say, are talking about ETs doing that. And I know we've kind of taken things a little bit step further tonight from what other people have talked about as far as ETs. But in these transition periods of time from one